Now at 9, firefighters rescue a woman child in southeast Kansas.
Residents here in Mayfield sifting through the debris, trying to salvage anything they can as the cleanup process continues after this weekend's deadly tornadoes. I'm Mallory Rivera with details on that coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Dow Quick. The Newton County prosecutor files murder charges against a man accused in a shooting death. The prosecutor charged Cameron Stotts with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Investigators say he shot and killed Alexis Guajardo Perez on November 9th. You can read more about the crime on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Fort Scott, Kansas firefighters this morning saved 2 people in an apartment trapped by a fire. The fire happened in a second-story unit at the Highland Apartments. Authorities say a woman and child were trapped. Crews evacuated the whole building and were able to contain the fire to the one unit. Firefighters rescued the woman and child from a bedroom window. There were no injuries reported. Checking in with Doug Heddy. The warmth continues, Doug.
Yeah, tremendously warm for the middle of December for us today. Temperatures way above our average high, as we even had a lot of clouds, and we still got way up to 68, 20 degrees above our normal high for this time of the year. We started out warm at 52, above our average high. Kind of in and out of the clouds all day long. There have been a few little tiny sprinkles, but what we're watching is our next storm system, which is developing out to the west. You can see it pulling out across the western parts of the Rockies. This is going to give us some thunderstorms by the time we head into tomorrow evening. So, of course, we're going to break that down for you here in just a bit.
We'll see you then. Crowder College in Neosho, Missouri has a new president. The college today made the announcement on Facebook. Dr. Patricia Pearson will take on the role on January 13th. Dr. Pearson is currently the president of East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma. The current Crowder president, Dr. Glenn Coltharp, will stay on as an advisor until his retirement on June 30th. A Joplin organization that helps young people reestablish themselves has a new facility to better serve. Loving Grace cut the ribbon on that facility today. It's called Dora's House. It's a maternity home for young women aged 17 to 24 who are pregnant or parenting a child under the age of 1.
Well, it's kind of a dream of mine long ago. I always said if we could save one child, that's all it was worth. And so we've saved many. We have lost some. That's just the way that goes.
Loving Grace is at 1414 Euclid Avenue in Joplin. Watered Gardens today gave out some cash after its annual Empty Bowls fundraiser event. The event connected local artists with local food makers. The artists created bowls, the cooks filled them with soup, and folks like you buy the bowls and the soup, all while helping local charities. 20 restaurants took part, donating 5 gallons of soup for the event.
Some studies will say that to provide a meal for somebody is going to cost an organization about $2. So if you think about that, then the incredibly generous community that we live in, by raising over $28,000, is saying, hey, here are 14,000 meals for those in our community who are struggling.
More than 1,000 bowls and 500 bowl koozies were sold, benefiting Mission, Joplin, We Care of the 4 States, Watered Gardens, and Hope Kitchen. Kentucky's governor says state parks will open up rooms for anyone who needs one after thousands of people were displaced by this weekend's deadly tornadoes. Reporter Madeline Rivera has the latest from Mayfield.
Work continues around the clock to clear roads and clean up debris as a long recovery process continues here in Mayfield.
But I tell you what, it feels pretty good to not just be pushing this stuff out of the way, but to be loading it up and taking it out of town.
It may be several weeks until officials in Kentucky can tally the full scope of the damage after 5 twisters hit the state in the span of a few hours. In Dawson Springs, an official estimates more than 60% of the town is beyond repair. Those whose homes are still standing feeling grateful.
We got into the bedroom closet right before it hit, and if you look at what we have left, we're blessed.
In Mayfield, many of the buildings were reduced to their foundations. Construction company owner Wesley Strange is used to working with his hands. Now he's sifting through the debris of the building he was remodeling.
We're one day away from getting it done.
That was Friday night. He had planned to stick around to finish the job until his nephew urged him to get out. Within minutes, the building was gone, and he did not have insurance. Now he's trying to salvage whatever tools he can find in the rubble, which he left behind in his rush to leave.
It's just unreal. I can't, there's no words to how my feelings are right now, because this was my life. This is what I love to do. I love to build.
The owner of a candle factory where a lot of the search and rescue operations in Mayfield have been focused on says all of their workers have been accounted for. A state safety agency says a review into the 8 employees killed is underway and could take up to 6 months to complete. In Mayfield, Kentucky, Martha Rivera, Fox News.
Inflation at the wholesale level rose more than expected in November. The producer price index jumped 0.8% last month. For the year ending in November, the increase is 9.6%. The increases, both of them, more than expected. The pandemic crushed demand for services like restaurants and entertainment, and people were spending more on their homes, groceries, and other goods, pushing up demand. Supply chain issues and labor shortages are contributing to higher prices. House Democrats moved to cite Mark Meadows with contempt of Congress, expecting a full House vote on the matter tonight. Comes after the former White House chief of staff defied a congressional subpoena, refusing to testify in the House's probe investigating the January attack on the U.S. Capitol. Reporter Chad Pergram is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
Every Republican and every Democrat ought to be voting for this legislation.
House Democrats further made the case for charging Mark Meadows, President Trump's former chief of staff, with contempt of Congress. The move coming one day after the House Select Panel investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol voted to recommend the criminal charges given the former White House official's refusal to testify in the committee's probe.
Our democracy was inches from ruin.
The committee reviewed thousands of texts and emails handed over by Meadows, revealing numerous exchanges with members of Congress and others on the day of the attack. Many urged Meadows to convince President Trump to send his supporters home.
These text messages leave no doubt the White House knew exactly what was happening here at the Capitol.
The committee also accused Meadows of withholding key information.
The Supreme Court has already found that executive privilege does not cover criminal activity.
Even after Mr. Meadows turned over texts, Democrats have now gone so far as to subpoena Verizon for Mr. Meadows' phone records. Such naked scheming should stay in House of Cards and other TV shows, not in this chamber.
A contempt of Congress charge carries a penalty of up to a year in jail, but that doesn't mean that Congress gets the information it wants. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor a four-state hero. Azaria McCool served in the U.S. Army from 1941 to 1945. He was part of a bomber group stationed in England, and we are proud to thank Private First Class Azaria McCool, tonight's four-state hero. Doug returns next with a complete look at the forecast, and later a local football coach is picked to coach in the Kansas Shrine Bowl. We'll have details in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a pretty good Tuesday for us today. Even though we didn't get much in the way of sunshine, temperature is fantastic, near 70. A little windy. We had winds gusting 30 to 40 throughout the day, and unfortunately, we're going to have the winds on the high side again tonight into tomorrow. Great live shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but looks pretty good. We do have a lot of clouds which are streaming through, but overall, it looks pretty good throughout the evening hours. All right, let's go down the road. What do we have lining up for us? I am watching a storm system tomorrow. This is going to give us some thunderstorms during the evening hours. We have another little system on Friday. And then as we go into next week, there's a system that comes in on Christmas Eve. Unfortunately, it looks like mainly rain, but something we'll keep our eyes on. Right after Christmas, a much bigger system, the 28th through the 30th, that's our shot for snow. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAM. newsnow.com. All right, look at our temps. We're sitting into the mid-60s. Our average high is 48. It's dark. We're into the mid-60s, mainly due to these strong southerly winds keeping those temperatures up. We have south winds in that kind of 15 to 25 mile per hour range, and then we've been getting gusts, which have been higher than that. Our winds have been gusting 30 upwards to 40 throughout the evening hours, and we're going to continue to see this as we go through the overnight hours tonight, and even picking up a little bit for us tomorrow. Outside, 7th range line 66, sustained winds at 24, humidity kind of high at about 81%. We do have some clouds which are scooting on through the region, but nothing really underneath the clouds. But we do get a little bit of Gulf moisture, which is lifting north, so we can't rule out a random sprinkle tonight or random sprinkle as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. But here's our next big storm system. Most of the energy is going to shoot across the northern plains, but this is the one that could give us some showers and thunderstorms as we work through tomorrow evening, as it shoots across the central Rockies into the northern plains. A little line of thunderstorms will fire ahead of the front and drive in by the time we head into tomorrow evening. So let's zoom in. Let's go hour by hour and work through the forecast here. For us tonight, a lot of clouds. Again, a random spotty little sprinkle, random shower. 99% of you will stay dry. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, starting in the morning, again, a spotty sprinkle, mostly cloudy skies, but look at our temps. We shoot into lower 70s during the afternoon. 70 by noon, high temp right around 73. Tomorrow evening, we get a band of showers and thunderstorms, drive in. Here's 7 p.m., so 7, 8, 9 p.m. Some of these storms could be strong, maybe low-grade severe, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that as we head into tomorrow evening. I think most of these are just going to stay strong, but definitely something I want to watch. Winds tomorrow are going to be gusting 40 upwards to 50 miles per hour. You got to remember, a severe thunderstorm, you only have to have winds at 60. And we're going to have winds gusting 40 to 50. 73 tomorrow, 58 Thursday, some showers Friday, clearing out and cooling down by the weekend.
Yeah, whether it's classified as severe or not, obviously wind speeds like that can potentially take some shingles off some roofs and some other damage.
Strap down the trash cans.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. Hey, Fox 14's 18th annual Feed the Four States food drive is underway. We're collecting non-perishable food items for area food pantries like Crosslines and Wesley House during this season of high demand. You can also make a monetary donation online at KOAMnewsnow.com/feed or during our Feed the Four States telethon tomorrow right here on the news at 9. That food drive will continue until December 31st. Coming up, how an area man turned an extra bit of exercise into a mission to clean up his neighborhood. Letters to Santa might pose a hazard to your kids. Target is recalling more than 170,000 of the Bullseye's Playground Letters to Santa mailboxes. That's due to a laceration hazard in the mail slot of the box. The products were sold in Target stores and on their website from October to November of this year. The CPSC says they've received 7 reports of cuts, 3 of them requiring medical attention. The products can be returned to Target for a full refund in the form of a gift card. If you want your gifts to make it in by December 25th, well, you need to get them shipped out as soon as possible. The major shipping companies have each released deadlines so they can ensure gift deliveries will make it to their destinations. FedEx Home, FedEx Ground, and United States Postal Service Retail Ground all have a deadline of tomorrow, December 15th. USPS first class items can be shipped out by this coming Friday, December 17th, while USPS priority mail can be shipped by December 18th. That's this coming Saturday. There's a man in the Greenwood area south of Joplin who's taking time to clean up his neighborhood. His name is Larry Ross, but he goes by the Litter Getter. Started as a way to get some exercise and get healthier. Photojournalist Ty Parks caught up with him and has more.
I woke up September 13th of this year I just couldn't breathe. And so I spent 2 trips to the emergency room and a couple of trips to some specialists and decided to get out and walk. And the first day I couldn't walk to my mailbox. 5 days later I was walking to Shoal Creek and back from my house, which is a jaunt. And now it's nothing to walk 3 miles picking up trash. I was going from a walk and just glanced in the ditch and became totally disgusted with all the trash in my ditch on my road. And so I went to the Job and Special Road District and said, hey, can I get some bags or something? And they said, absolutely. I'm a lot healthier. I'm not looking for any glorification. What I want is to bring recognition to the problem of litter. Litter is everywhere. And if I could just get one individual to grab a trash bag from under the kitchen sink, go out in front of his house and pick it up, and that, I'd be happy. But I'd like to have 1,000.
Good for Larry, and thanks to Larry. Larry says he covers about a 12-mile stretch of road. He also has set out some trash cans along the road for people to throw away their trash. Coming up, health officials standing firm.
Officials are pleading with Americans to get vaccinated as more Omicron cases pop up nationwide. I'm David Lee Miller in New York. The details coming up.
Pfizer says its new COVID-19 pill can significantly reduce the risk of severe illness or death from the coronavirus. The pharmaceutical company released new data today saying its COVID antiviral pill cut the risk of hospitalizations or deaths by 89%. That's in a trial for patients at high risk for severe COVID-19. Pfizer says in the 5-day trial, the drug had a high efficacy rate for patients who were treated within the first 3 days of their symptoms. The company also says lab tests show its COVID-19 pill will likely remain effective against all variants, including Omicron. The Omicron variant continues to spread across the U.S. and the globe as nations take measures to combat that contagious strain. Reporter David Lee Miller takes a look.
Several states are doing what they can to curb the spread of Delta and Omicron variants. California has revised their indoor mask mandate as virus cases jumped nearly 50% in the past 2 weeks. And here in New York, a vaccine mandate is now in effect for 5 to 11-year-olds. It applies to gyms, restaurants, entertainment venues, and some school activities.
This is a preemptive strike to make sure that we can protect people, stop this from spreading, particularly with the unknown characteristics of the new variant.
A new study from South Africa finds 2 doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine provides just 33% protection against the Omicron variant. Despite this, researchers say those infected are less likely to be hospitalized with the strain. The news comes as the variant sweeps across the globe, including the United Kingdom, where officials expect it to be the dominant strain in just a matter of days.
The UK's 4 chief medical officers raised the COVID alert level to 4, its second highest level, because of the evidence that Omicron is doubling here in the UK every 2 to 3 days.
The World Health Organization also raising concerns about vaccine access to poorer nations. The UN agency announcing it may take several years before a majority of African nations are able to hit their vaccination targets.
For Africa to reach the global targets at the current rate we are going at 70%, this may be late August 2024.
Tuesday marks 1 year since the first American received the COVID-19 vaccine. Since then, more than 200 million Americans have been fully vaccinated. In New York, David Lee Miller, Fox News.
Now, who's a good boy? Researchers say turns out dogs understand a lot of what we say. Going to learn more when we come back. If you find yourself having a conversation with your dog every now and then, and who doesn't, you should know they might understand more than you think. If you want to be Dr. Doolittle and talk to the animals, particularly dogs, well, keep the chats going. Researchers at Dalhousie University in Canada said the average dog knows about 89 words, and the really smart ones, up to 200 words. The scientists surveyed 165 dog owners, dogs of various breeds, sexes, and ages, counting words or phrases which made them look up, whine, wag their tail, or perform actions. Dogs understood command words, food words, and play words very well. The most responsive breeds were Shepherds, Collies, Bichon Frise, Spaniels, and Chihuahuas. The study's published in the Applied Animal Behavioral Science Journal. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The latest on the trial of Kim Potter, a former officer charged with manslaughter.
A new study finds car emissions are hurting your health and your wallet. I'm Kevin Cork with more on that, plus how the White House is trying to make it easier for you to drive an electric vehicle. That's coming right up.
Prosecutors continue making their case in the manslaughter trial of former police officer Kim Potter. Today, the judge ruled on 2 key motions in the case. Reporter Anna Eliopoulos has more.
It's the 5th day of testimony in the trial of former Minnesota police officer Kim Potter. Potter shot and killed Dante Wright on April 11th in Brooklyn Center, but claimed she accidentally grabbed her gun instead of a taser.
I am denying the motion of the state.
Tuesday morning, the judge denying 2 key motions from the state. One sought permission to question officers about their union membership to determine possible bias. The other requested to limit the opinion of witnesses who are not testifying as experts. It's significant for the defense, as one witness testified Potter legally had the right to use deadly force in this situation.
Would it be fair for that officer to use a firearm to stop him?
By state statute, yes.
Taking the stand Tuesday, Commander Garrett Flesland, who oversees trainers for the Brooklyn Center Police Department. He testified about the department's use of force policy, telling the court, according to policy, a gross misdemeanor warrant is not serious enough to begin a pursuit.
Why do you want to discourage shooting at occupants of a moving vehicle?
If it's to stop the vehicle, my understanding is that's rarely effective.
If you were to injure in some way by shooting the driver of the vehicle, what could happen?
The vehicle could strike something or somebody.
Officers learned Dante Wright was wanted for a misdemeanor weapons charge during a traffic stop. As Wright moved to drive away, Potter pulled her gun and shot him. This trial is expected to wrap up by Christmas Eve. Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
More than half of all U.S. hospitals do not comply with the new price transparency rule, according to a new study. Hospitals are required to show the prices for common services such as colonoscopies and CAT scans, allowing patients to price check before visiting a facility. The study analyzed more than 3,500 hospitals from January to June of 2021, the first 5 months of the implementation, to see how many hospitals complied. Results showed 64% of hospitals did not show any pricing data and were therefore non-compliant. The White House wants more electric cars on the road, and a new study suggests that'll help save lives. Reporter Kevin Cork has more on what researchers have to say about car exhaust and how it could soon become easier for you to own an electric car.
Fossil fuel emissions are dealing a heavy blow to people's health and wallets. And according to a new Harvard University study, slashing exhaust levels can not only save lives, but also promote a stronger economy. Researchers found decreases in emissions between 2008 and 2017 resulted in close to 8,000 fewer deaths due to air pollution and saved the economy $270 billion.
Electric cars, trucks, and buses, they don't produce tailpipe emissions that irritate the nose and eyes, that decrease lung function.
This data comes as the White House is accelerating its push for more Americans to abandon gas-guzzling vehicles.
The future of transportation in our nation and around the world is electric.
The Biden administration unveiling its plans Monday to build 500,000 public electric car charging stations across the country, using money from President Biden's $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill.
Nobody will be without the ability to charge their car close to where they live or work.
Officials hope broader access to charging stations will make it easier for more people to go electric, with the White House also stressing America needs to keep up with electric vehicle manufacturing and repairs to compete on a global scale. The White House wants fully electric vehicles to make up half of all new auto sales by 2030. Currently, they only make up roughly 3%. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
A bit later, increasing complaints about Vice President Kamala Harris. Some people frustrated with what hasn't been done.
Well, it turned out to be a decent Tuesday for us today. A little windy. We had winds gusting 30 to 40, but temperatures great, upper 60s to near 70 degrees. during the afternoon. It looks pretty good still for us right now. It's going to stay mild and windy throughout the overnight hours. Live shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but it looks pretty good. All right, let's see what's coming down the road. Watching the storm system tomorrow. This is going to give us some evening thunderstorms that we need to keep our eyes on. There is a system moving in on Christmas Eve, the 23rd and 24th. As of right now, it mainly looks like rain, but something we'll keep our eyes on. Much better shot for snow, the 28th through the 30th. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAM, newsnow.com. Look at the temps. Most of us low to mid 60s. We're at our overnight lows. Strong southerly winds are going to keep our temperatures up tonight. Our winds are going to stay in that 15 to 25 mile per hour range as we go through the overnight hours, with gusts in that 30 upwards to 40 mile per hour range. These even get stronger as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Looks pretty good. 7th and range line. We are dry, even though we do have a lot of clouds which are shifting through. We can't rule out a random sprinkle or a random quick little shower tonight, and then again through the daytime hours tomorrow as we have some Gulf of Mexico moisture which is streaming north. But we're waiting for our next storm system. You can see the big dip in the jet stream out across Utah, parts of Nevada. Strong storm system, but the bulk of this energy is going to shoot across the northern parts of the plains. But it still is going to drag a cold front into the region, giving us some scattered showers and thunderstorms. But you can see the energy whips out. Here's tomorrow evening, shoots across the northern plains. As it drags a cold front in, we get showers and thunderstorms and then cooler air building in behind it. So let's get a closer look. Let's go hour by hour. Tonight, we just stick around the clouds. We could see a random sprinkle or two, very light. Most of you stay dry. As we go into the morning hours, much of the same. Temps upper 60s, mostly cloudy skies. Can't rule out a random sprinkle. Temperatures even warmer tomorrow. I think most of us go into lower 70s. 64 to start, 70 by noon, high temp of 73. South winds 15 to 25, gusts higher than that. As we work into the evening hours, here's 7 p.m. Western counties, thunderstorms get going, plow southeast through the evening hours. So here's 9:30, so in about 24 hours, some of these storms could be strong, maybe low-grade severe. Some heavy amounts of rain, especially as it shifts along and south of Interstate 44. If we had anything severe, we're mainly looking at gusty winds and also some large hail. But even before the storms get here, we got the gusty winds. By morning, winds gusting in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. By the afternoon, we accelerate into that 40 to 50 mile per hour range, which is kind of crazy. 73 tomorrow, 58 on Thursday, a few showers Friday, and then cooling down for the weekend.
I know you and the rest of the weather team will keep an eye on the possibility of severe weather tomorrow and let us know what we need to know when we need to know it.
Yeah, we'll be on top of it.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, Carl Junction aims to move on to the McDonald County Girls Tournament Championship. Also, Pittsburgh hits the floor for their SEK League opener against Independence. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons play their SEK League opener tonight against Independence. On the girls' side earlier tonight, it was Independence starting their league schedule with a 58-38 win. As for the boys, the Purple Dragons aim to earn the split and win their third straight against the Bulldogs. And Mason English, dude, he's a monster in the first quarter. Pull up three from the right side, then same thing from the other side. Finally driving, and the foul. English, 18 points in the first quarter alone. Dragons up 9. The second quarter, look at this. Easton Ewing. Big putback jam. Indy within 5 at halftime. Then third quarter, Brecken Birdie, 3 for the Bulldogs, makes it a 1-possession game. Pittsburgh would close it out. Jackson Turnbull inside gets the finish. Then back to Mason English. He scores a game-high 30. Pittsburgh tops Indy in their conference opener 60-48. Well, tonight is semifinal night at the Lady Mustang Classic at McDonald County High School. And we have one local team still alive in the championship side of the bracket in the Carl Junction Bulldogs. Now tonight, CJ faces Fort Smith Southside with the winner earning a spot in the title game tomorrow night. This one is final. CJ gets a 52-32 win. Bulldogs move on to face Bentonville West in the tournament championship tomorrow night. Pittsburgh State Gorillas return to MIAA play at home tomorrow night against Lincoln. On the women's side, Pitt State is 7-2 to start the season, including a 3-1 mark in conference play. On the other side, the Blue Tigers are looking for their first league win, heading into the matchup 0-3 against MIAA competition. Now for Pitt State, they got a lot of things working right now. One of the biggest things, they're shooting it well. Through 9 games, Pitt State is second in the league in field goal percentage and three-point percentage.
Everybody's very open-minded and ready to go, and I think at the end of the day, everybody wants a win, so that if he's hot tonight, then that's who we know that we need to get the ball to. If Tristan's hot, then we got to get her the ball. So I think everybody's pretty open-minded and ready to get a win at the end of the day.
The way we're sharing the basketball has a lot to do with it. I think we're sharing it on time when people are in rhythm. I think we have pretty good recognition. I say that, I feel like it can always be better, but I think the main part is we're just finding people in their rhythm and in their right roles. So drivers are being drivers the majority of the time, shooters are being shooters the majority of the time.
On the men's side for PSU, they're aiming for a much-needed win tomorrow night against Lincoln. Pitt State has lost 3 in a row. Now they're sitting at 2-8 overall through 10 games. Now, the last few years, offense hasn't really been a problem for PSU. This year, though, different story so far. They're all right on the defensive end, but offensively, they're scoring a league-low 63 points per night.
Part of it is we're not making shots, if you go back and you chart things and you try to figure out why, part of the reason is we're not taking good shots all the time. And that comes back, I think, to execution. That's something we've worked on, trying to get better shots. Shots maybe a little bit more within our offense, and just overall being more efficient.
Girard head football coach Neal Philpott has been selected to coach in the 2022 Kansas Shrine Bowl. Philpott will serve as an assistant coach for the game next summer in Pittsburgh. Now, this season, no doubt a special one for Philpott and the Trojans. Led the team to their first undefeated regular season since 1999. The team finished 10-1 overall, winning a district title and a regional championship. Now, the 2022 Kansas Shrine Bowl will be on July 23rd at Carney Smith Stadium in Pittsburgh. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
To help protect itself against hackers, the Department of Homeland Security is turning to hackers themselves. The DHS is launching what's known as a bug bounty program, offering hackers big bucks to help find cybersecurity vulnerabilities within DHS systems. The department will shell out between $500 and $5,000, depending on, among other factors, the seriousness of the vulnerability. Vice President Harris met with business leaders yesterday to talk about the border crisis. The VP's leadership as the president's point person on immigration has come under heavy criticism, even ridicule. Fox News correspondent David Spunt takes a look.
Vice President Kamala Harris meeting with the heads of major U.S. companies at the White House. The goal, pump private sector money into Central American countries to keep their citizens from coming to the U.S. southern border.
The work of this group of leaders in this call to action has been the work of addressing one of the main reasons that they leave, and that is the lack of economic opportunity.
The heads of Pepsi, Microsoft, Nespresso, MasterCard, and others are committing a $1.2 billion investment in the Northern Triangle, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Last March, President Biden gave Harris the job of taking control of the southern border crisis. But instead of focusing on the actual border itself, she pledged to highlight root causes of migration with a visit to Guatemala in June.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek: do not come.
But 6 months later, the president of Guatemala, Alejandro Giammattei, who was in Washington last week, said he has not heard from the vice president since her visit.
We have had many conversations with your ambassador, but between my presidency and the White House, actually no.
He said Vice President Harris has not spoken to her, and if she's in charge, why is that?
Well, we
have had a range of conversations, Peter, I think as reflected in our readout we put out last week with our National Security Advisor, with the Vice President's National Security Advisor.
Those impacted by the border crisis demand the administration, specifically the Vice President, do more.
This is obviously a national problem. There's a bunch of people coming over, surrendering, that are overwhelming our social system, overwhelming law enforcement.
We asked if the Vice President plans to visit the Northern Triangle again. According to a senior administration official, there are no plans right now, but she may visit again in the future. At the White House, David Spunt, Fox News.
Going to check out some Golden Globe Award nominees when we come back. Golden Globe nominations announced during some controversy. The Critics' Choice Awards also choose their nominees, plus new trailers from the big and small screens. It's all in Hollywood Nation with Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Things are not quite what they appear.
Magical trailers critics choose, the Globes go on in the Hollywood Nation.
This has been a year of change and reflection for the Hollywood Foreign Press Association.
Nominees for the 79th Golden Globe Awards were announced, despite controversy over ethics and lack of diversity within its voting party, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, and NBC backing out of airing the show. The HFPA president addressing the issues says they've changed their rules, bylaws, added a new code of conduct, restructured their governance, and added 21 new members, making their largest and most diverse voting pool.
You know who you are, don't you?
Their nominees were led by Belfast and The Power of the Dog with 7, both up for Best Picture Drama, along with Dune, Family Drama Coda, and Biopic King Richard. Best Picture Comedy nominees are Don't Look Up, the 70s coming-of-age story Licorice Pizza, musicals West Side Story and Tick, Tick, Boom, and the reimagining Cyrano. HBO's Succession led in TV. Globes will be awarded January 9th. The 27th Critics' Choice Awards are also January 9th and announced its film nominees Monday, too. Belfast and West Side Story lead with 11. Epic Scale Dune and The Power of the Dog follow with 10. That ceremony, hosted by Taye Diggs and Nicole Byer, airs on the CW and TBS.
The world as we know it is coming undone.
And in new trailers, return to the wizarding world with a look at Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore.
A toast to motherhood.
Plus, the mystery of M. Night Shyamalan's Servant gives fans a peek at season 3.
Everything's happening the way that it's supposed to.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with a look at a drive-through Christmas light show at Katy Park in Chanute, Kansas. Let's make it a great tomorrow.